What's going on, guys? So it's time for another review discussion on My Mama Thot. This is going to be on episode 9 and 10. I realized as I was watching these two episodes that there's actually two more. For some reason in my head, I thought that the season was only 10 episodes long. I was wrong about that. So I may break those two up, not even just because it's the end, but the episodes are like Tubi movie length. They're all almost an hour and 20, an hour and 12, things of that nature. So there's going to be a lot of content in those, so I might as well divvy them up and review them separately. But by early next week, I'll have all of My Mama Thot done, and then I'll start focusing on other things in terms of ongoing discussions. I have some ideas, some stuff that I'm working on. You guys will see it soon. Starting out, we see that Flossie is actually willing to fund Darnell's trip to space camp, but everything falls apart for Darnell as soon as he goes to space camp. It's something that the show has been highlighting the whole time, and it actually pisses me off about Darnell. I'll be serious, because in general, I like the character, or I'm sympathetic of the character. You've seen so much of the world through his eyes. You know how tough it's been and all of the things that he's trying to work through. But this particular aspect of Darnell pisses me off. He goes to the space camp. He's being told straight up that essentially you're a diversity hire. They have to have a certain amount of people of color in the programs for astronauts. He wrote a letter, he got chosen, but they never thought that he was good enough to be an astronaut. He didn't get in there because of his grades or anything like that. The instructor points it out point blank. All of your records were pulled. Based off of your records, your grades, attendance, all of these things, they would not have chosen him. But he was a diversity hire, and their hope was that as he goes through the experiment, he will get a spark in him to want to do better for his life. He really is the token student in here, and you see it as the episode progresses, because they start doing an instruction and he's asking about different facts about astronauts, just how many typically make it to the program, all of these things that you could look up easily. And Darnell keeps raising his hand for these things, but he's not chosen. Darnell gets mad about that. But then you see the instructor put him on game, which so many people keep doing on the show. He gets asked a question, but it's math related. He doesn't know the answer.
Yes, Mr. Freeman.
I'm looking around, but you keep calling on everybody else but me. What's up with that, my brother?
My brother.
Yeah.
But since Mr. Freeman here insists that he belongs here, he should be able to answer that second great question for us.
What's that got anything to do with being an astronaut anyway?
Because, Mr. Freeman, mathematics, engineering, science, technology is the basis for being an astronaut.
And Darnell is thinking in his head, what does the astronaut need to know about math? When those white people at that dinner 3 or 4 episodes ago brought up these certain things that you would need to study or know as a astronaut, you would think that he would have looked those things up. He never did that. You would think that if this was his life's goal, he would be learning about the exact steps you need to take to achieve that goal. But he has not been doing that the whole time. And now you're basically coming here asking for a handout. No, you can't even do basic math. You're not going to be able to be an astronaut. It was never going to happen. It was this pipe dream that he created just because he would think it was cool. You see that a lot with different people as their kids. I want to be a cop, a firefighter, a doctor. There's all these things that sound cool, but a lot of the things that people want to be when they're kids, they don't want to be as adults. Part of it is because of how hard it is. Yeah, being a doctor sounds cool, but it's going to be 10, 12, 15 years before you're really... I'm sure it depends on the specialty that you go into for being a doctor. But with all of the amount of school you have to take, and then you end up being essentially an intern, and even when you become a resident as a doctor, you're not getting paid doctor money, and you're going to be struggling, and you're going to have to pay off loans, because most people cannot afford loans most people can't afford to fund going to medical school. So you're going to be paying it off and all of that. So These are things you should be thinking about. I've never jumped into anything, even when I was younger. I never jumped into anything career-wise that I didn't know a little bit about it. Especially if it's something that is a passion. You should be learning about it. He didn't. Once it rains, it pours. So that didn't go well. He's having a meeting with, I guess, his guidance counselor at school, and he's not gonna pass. He's not gonna graduate. And they said they can't keep him there for more years as a high school student, as a senior, because of his age. I guess he was already overage. Like he's already been held back and things of that nature before. So and that tells me again, why did you think you were gonna be an astronaut? Nothing about your education, the way it looks, is good. You're not killing it with education. You're not learning more. You're not applying yourself. It's great to have goals, but you have to put effort into them. He hasn't been doing that. Finally gets the wake up call that he needs, and you can see him. You can see a certain change with him in the episode. You see him just casually smoking weed. He has a mini breakdown at the grave. I think it's his father. Basically, just I let you down, but I gotta wake up from this nightmare. I gotta do something about it, which is something he should have done so long ago. I understand in certain respects why he didn't do that, but it drives me crazy as a viewer. Everything is not coming up for him. He doesn't have a job. His dream of being an astronaut is gone. Doesn't have any money. His mom's in jail. His sister is out here struggling. Now he's working with a pimp to make money. So he's in the situation he's in, but over the time, and I'll get into it more in episode 10, he does grow into the role and become successful. It's actually kind of interesting.
I guess I'm here to say it's time for me to wake up to the nightmare now.
That's a lot of what you follow in this episode is his progression downward before there's kind of a rise up. Over on Flossie's side of things, he doesn't have that money from the drugs. He doesn't have the drugs. So everything is going crazy. The girls are worried about Maria. They don't know where she is. They're mad that he got them involved in drugs because that was something he told them. Don't get involved in drugs. And they were doing it.
I'll handle it.
Okay. Now that's out. Anyone else got something to say that may lead me to what my coke is?
I mean, aren't we gonna even acknowledge Maria's missing? The news doesn't even know that. It's your rule we don't fuck with drugs. That's why we all followed you.
Why would you send her for drugs anyway?
Right.
Mother, bitch, don't tell me how to run my business.
The one girl, I believe her name is Brenda, but it's the one that is hooking up with the muscle Nutty. She clearly has information that she hasn't told them. So it all kind of comes out in one scene where she admits that Maria had a drug problem. So now they know, oh, she just ran off with the drugs. They didn't know that. So now they know. They didn't know where Maria was. They didn't know what the doctor. It's a bunch of stupid stuff that Flossie shouldn't have got himself into. His sister tried to save him and he didn't listen. So now this is the situation that he's in. He was not equipped to deal with this. He was when he was in that mode, and really he was a number two to Chris, the uncle. Now as the main man, I don't think he's a adept at running all of this. Like, he keeps faltering all over the place. He doesn't have the respect of the women. He's not making the money he needs. He's making stupid decisions. I don't understand this guy. And he's been doing the things that he's been doing for years at this point. So I feel like he should have more of a mind for this, but he doesn't. They were teasing some tension between the sister. The sister's name is Teresa, I believe. But Flossie's sister and Nutty and the girl who's hooking up with Nutty. So in this episode, the sister snapped. She goes, like, she basically sequesters that one prostitute in the bathroom, and she's trying to get her to admit that she's hooking up with Nutty, and she won't do it, because she knows that could be worse for her. So the hoe isn't saying anything. So she gets beat the hell up. It goes full Tubi in this moment. It was pure Tubi.
You fucking nutty?
Ask you a question.
No.
See, that was the trick. Y'all don't know where your
So now that cat is out of the bag too. But then you also realize the sister was hooking up with Nutty, which I felt that's why she was noticing the two of them sliding off. I felt that they were gonna go back to that, and there was some sort of history with either her and Brenda or her and Nutty, but it ends up being Nutty. That's something that they don't need right now. They don't need this drama too. And she normally has her head on straight, and you don't see her go wild or anything like that. You would more expect that from Flossie, but now you see she don't play. She could be slick with the mouth. She's strong. She could pop off all of these things, but also she will go crazy on these women. And now you fully lost the trust of the women. Now they're getting beat up on top of everything else. You're losing all respect they had for you. You could see this with any job. The people that work for you need to want to work for you. Most jobs suck, especially jobs where you're working under another boss. So a way you have to get them working is you have to get them motivated to want to work for you. They need to be able to invest in you and less about the job, because a lot of people won't give a damn about the jobs that they're doing, but they may be invested in you. They don't want to let you down. You make things better, so they want to work with you and help. And it seems like Flossie did do that for a time. He was holding them down, but now just everything is falling down around him, and he's not doing anything to fix it. You see an episode, they keep going back to the manager, and I don't know how much he's going to factor into things. I feel like he will. They keep showing that he has a lot of money in the safe. I feel like that money is going to get robbed at some point. I thought it may have been robbed in this episode, but that other woman that keeps hunting around, she's in the picture too. So he's playing game. And I felt that what Shantae was doing was off the book. She realized that she's sleeping with him for free, but he promised a role, a movie role. But I don't know why she keeps thinking she's going to get roles from people in this area. You're not in Hollywood. You're not in New York. You're not even in Atlanta or some of these places where productions be going down and a lot of connections are to be had. These people you live around don't have the connections. You're gonna have to go away to make this dream come true. But you're sleeping with this dude that's giving you these pie in the sky dreams, and you can't see that it's nonsense. I get that your desire for what you need will blind you at times, but come on now. And the one thing that made me laugh in the scene is the money is just fake as hell. Just it doesn't look anything like real money. Once you start flipping through it, maybe on top from far away, you won't see that it is garbage. But when you get a little bit closer, the money is so damn phony. You see a little bit with the doctor, just that he's still held up in the room, and you don't know where that's going to go, if Flossie's ever going to be able to find him or anything like that. But that's still hanging, and we don't really touch on him again until episode 10. We also see that Nyla kind of wants to get on the game. She's already been selling herself and all of these things. Well, not selling herself, but giving herself up to these older men. So of course she might want to slide in that profession. Thankfully, Flossie, for all of the dumb decisions he makes, does not want to put her out there. It's kind of weird. You almost forget about it, the way the show presents itself, but she is underage. She is younger than Darnell. She's probably 14, 15. And she's just involved in all of this. And you also start to notice that you just get the feeling that she looks up to Trish, the sister, which is interesting, but it's not good because she doesn't need to be getting wrapped up in this life either. But that's the road she's going down. Episode 9 is called Gaslight, and they didn't touch on why that was until the very end. You hear Flossie tell them that because they're not making enough money, they're gonna throw Operation Gaslight out there, and you don't know what it is, but Flossie breaks it down to Darnell at the end. So basically, Gaslight is when you're in the room with a John, when you're alone with his wallet or what have you, you take all of the money out of his wallet, and then when he comes back out, if he is one to check his wallet, you gaslight him. You say you don't know where the money is. You'll even offer to give the money back that they paid you for the services to just to show how innocent you are, and they will freak out, everything. But generally it works. You get all of their money. I'm not going in a situation. I'm not doing the situation at all. But I'm not going into the situation with a bunch of money. I don't know why these people are going in here. They're gonna know the services before they get there, how much money they're gonna need to spend. And I don't know a lot of people who keeps a ton of money on them, but these guys keep doing it. And they hide the money in the Bible because they're never going to look in the Bible for anything. So that's what gaslight is. But that's essentially what happens in episode 9. You're seeing just sort of people going down to a low. Episode 10 kind of brings it back up, but then I feel like it drops even further. You'll see what I'm talking about. If you've seen the episode, you know. Episode 10 is interesting because they use storytelling that they've used throughout the show very well. That's why I say the show is not bad. I think of something like Beauty and the Black on Netflix. This is way better than that show with less money. You're paying Tyler Perry or anything, production or any of that. I feel like if this show was on a bigger service, it may actually blow up. The acting is pretty damn good. It doesn't look bad. It's this weird thing, and I know I got an OLED TV. It's still in great condition. For some reason, as the show goes on, I keep noticing in the back of shots, it looks kind of wavy and grainy. It's not clear in the back of a lot of shots, and I don't know what's going on with that, but it can be distracting while I'm watching. And I'm watching other things, and I don't have that problem, so it's just with this. But you see Darnell applying himself. Throughout the episode, you see him coming up with different ideas, but then you also learn that these ideas came from what he saw over time, and they show flashbacks to see what we're talking about. But
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mom, you pay more than you asked for.
Yep. That, son, is called the good old bait and switch. You bait them in with one price, and then when they like it, you switch it for a higher one. Especially with men. They always want what they can't have, even if it's worthless.
Let's chop it up to the game, baby.
Darnell's been getting taught all of these lessons. We've seen it from Flossie and Larry and Chris and his father, his mother, all of these things. So he's applying that to what he's doing now. So the ideas he comes up with for the women is, for one thing, John is paying for the room that they get, but that's a continuous thing. What Darnell says to do is get the first John to pay for the room, get everyone else to pay for the room, but they're not actually paying for it because it's already been paid for the night. So that's just money for them. They think it's just part of the process. Oh, I got to get a room and I got to pay for services. But no, once that room has been paid for the night, that's just free money for them. And he learned that over hearing Chris and Flossie talk about how they're going to maneuver the packs that they're selling. We also see that Flossie had brought up earlier that they used to do the online thing so that you can basically order the women online. And you see that with a lot of escort services and things of that nature where they have the women posted up, you choose them, you pay, you do the meeting, all of these things. But women were using that to get out and playing Flossie and all that, so he stopped doing it. The girls want to do it, but Flossie won't let them. So Darnell comes up with the idea that you basically catfish them, but in a positive way. The analogy he uses is if you put Whoopi Goldberg up there as a picture of what you're getting and you get Angela Bassett, you're not going to be mad about being upcharged. So you can get away with that. And also, their faces aren't online, so Flossie won't know what's going on with this. So it's a win-win. Through these mechanics that he does in the episode, everything starts to turn up. Everyone is making money. Everyone is happy. Darnell is actually killing it. The other thing that he comes up with is basically creating overtime. So you do this gambit where you're with the John, you say you don't have any rubbers, you get a girl to go out and get rubbers, but when they come back, you basically rope them in for a threesome. So you're basically upcharging. You're going to charge more now because the extra woman is there. They weren't planning on that before, but now it's extra money. And the experience of two women, they're going to overpay for what they're getting. So that's extra money. And the women look at it, that's time and a half. Yeah, that's essentially what they're doing. They have Nyla working on the profiles online so they could get away with that. It's just wild just seeing Darnell strong and using his mind. And it's something that I've talked about for years. Essentially, everything you do in life is a setup for the future. And what I mean by that is you can learn from all of your experiences and apply them to different experiences, but it doesn't have to be an exact one-to-one. So if you're getting into a relationship, a romantic relationship, the relationship that you have with your family, with your friends, with your coworkers, you can learn from that and apply it in a relationship, even though it's not a one-to-one. Just in terms of knowing how to treat people, what you're willing to stand for, having to adjust and navigate other people's emotions, all of those things. You can apply that from those situations and apply it to your love life. That's why I don't get down on people for not being in a relationship ever, but wanting one. A lot of people will be, that's a red flag or whatever, but you don't know everyone's circumstances. But that doesn't mean that you can't or you don't want to be committed. It just hasn't happened in some cases. But that doesn't mean that you can't handle it. As long as you're preparing yourself, it goes back to what Darnell was doing with Space Camp. He wasn't preparing himself for the dream that he had, and he paid for it. Because of that, he didn't get the dream that he wanted, but he set up that situation. That's all his fault, and it's nobody else's. Of course, like everyone didn't agree or believe in his dream, and that kind of sucked. But he also set himself up for a lose-lose situation. He was never going to succeed because he wasn't really trying. Other people were just canceling that idea because it sounded stupid. We see more escalation with the drugs and Black and the gay hustler. So they are 20,000 short, I believe, of the payment they need to give. Trish goes to get an extension because the dude Black, like, he's always clearly into her. So it's just sort of using her to finesse him, and they get a week extension, but now they have to pay 30,000 more, because obviously they would. Trish was shocked that they upped the amount of money, but now once you make these people wait, they're going to charge more. You have to know. You cannot be surprised by that. And to show that he wasn't playing, he shoots Nutty right in her hand.
We're serious.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
I'm not playing, and when a week goes by and I don't get that money, y'all are gone. So Flossie is just kind of losing his mind. He doesn't have control over these women at all. I know I keep saying it, but it really hits the fan in this episode. I'll get to that part towards the end. We also dealing with Shantae. We see more of her with the manager, but things blow up on that front because the woman that the manager is messing with walks in, and Shantae is there. So it becomes this whole thing of, what are you doing? Who are you sleeping with? Whatever. It just all blows up in his face. I still don't know where they're going. I think it's just more about the money, and we keep seeing the money. Darnell is the one taking her around, and essentially they link back up. Now Shantae is all sad, and she goes to Darnell. Now she wants to stick with him and give up what she's doing, and then they just go away together to try and accomplish her dream. But as Flossie says, this is the one thing. We've seen him use a bunch of advice that he's gotten over the episodes, but one of the main ones that, and we've heard more than once, is never trust these women. I wouldn't trust Shantae after what she already did. Maybe you don't have to be mad at her and all of these things, but I'm not trusting her. I'm not reinvesting in that. That's exactly what he wants to do. He wants to walk away from the success that he's been having just to be with her. And one step forward, two steps back with Darnell. Don't get me wrong, this is an illegal activity. He shouldn't be involved in it, but he was excelling in what he was doing. And then we learned through the mom, when he does a visit, that basically that was his strong suit. If he's interacting with people, that's where he's best. He may not be the smartest person out there, but he has high EQ. He's good at relating to people and thinking things out. It's just he's not that smart. So that's why he's excelling the way he is in this episode. At the end of the episode, we have a full-on mutiny. At this point, all of the women of the night, shall I say, they just had it with Flossie. So we see on the news story everything that happened with the drugs. The doctor unalived himself, so he's out of here. And everything just gets discovered. You see Maria's picture on screen and the doctor, his dude, the other woman that was there. All of it is broken down. So now the women get mad because this is the one thing Flossie was supposed to do. Supposed to protect them. And I do kind of find it funny though, just because this wasn't, it is his fault, but then it wasn't his fault. And what I mean by that is he gave her one simple assignment. He did not know that she was into drugs, and she screwed him over. She's dead because of her actions, not his. I get what they're saying, that you brought the drugs into the picture and now this is the consequences. So from a larger standpoint, it's his fault, but in general, it's not. It's hers. But this is the thing, just having one of the women wiped out, they don't want that to happen to them. So they have a whole mutiny. Nutty joins them on their side. Nutty and Brenda steal the money that they've been building up to pay off Black, and they hightail it out here because they talked about it earlier. Because we learned more about Brenda, just that she's down bad. So at the beginning of the episode, she's talking to her now about her circumstances and the wild stuff that's been done, and Flossie beating her up and dragging her out when she tried to get out one time. Just a lot of bad stuff happened to her, which is always, especially people in these situations, they all have a story to tell. As we spend time with her, we also see the bond with her and Nutty. They think that they should just get up out of there. They're also worried about the consequences of that. So that's where things get kind of dicey. Ultimately, they do run off together. So now they do not have the money to pay off Black. Darnell was earning him a bunch of money, but that's not working. And all of the women turn on him at the end. It just makes me wonder, headed towards the end, are they just going to link up with Darnell, even though he doesn't want to do that? How is that going to go? I have no idea how it's going to go with Flossie and Trish in terms of how they get out of this. I swear, though, that fight at the end is such garbage. That was pure Tubi with the fake punching and the sound effects that just sound like some cartoon shit. That's what you get at the end. And that's maybe the most delicious piece of Tubi I've gotten yet. That's where we leave things off, though. So the sister hasn't got into life completely, but she is kind of in it. Darnell was excelling, and now he's sort of pulling back. We don't know how that's going to go. The mom actually does get out of prison, and the girls essentially pooled their money together to be able to get her out. They wanted to help out Darnell, and they got her a little spot to stay in. So things are going well. And I know once the mom finds out about him and Shantae, she ain't going to have it, because now they're kind of doing well for themselves. And she told him to go work for Flossie, earn that money so she could get out. So him trying to run off, that's not going to go over well either. Don't know how it's going to go. But I'm still enjoying this show. I am still enjoying this show. I hope you all are too. Let me know what you think of the review. Let me know what you think of the episode. Hopefully you guys are watching along, or you've already seen it as you're discovering my video now. You just want to see someone talk about it. Gonna kind of be sad when it's over in 2 episodes. I really am enjoying it. I'm gonna finish it over the weekend, and I'll have that review out for you guys soon. But as always, thanks for listening. Bye for now.